Hello, my name is Smita Gupta. I am a lawyer working with a collaborative mission in India aimed at developing open source softwares and datasets to catalyze the creation of AI powered solutions to improve access to justice. My work centers around the intersection of data, AI, and law. We espouse principles of collaboration, inclusivity, transparency, and openness for the development of a legal AI community as well as legal AI models. Today, I will briefly discuss three aspects of AI for law. Firstly, the critical role digital public goods or DPGs like OpenAI models can play for transforming India's legal system. Secondly, how to overcome the barriers in the development of DPGs like Open Legal AI. And thirdly, the most significant AI use cases that can be championed to improve access to information and justice. Let me start with a story that is not rooted in law at all. Last month, in August 2022, UPI, the United Payment Interface in India, processed over 6 billion transactions worth over rupees 10 trillion or 125 billion USD. To put this in context, UPI is the foundational technology being used by several digital wallets for real-time financial transactions. This has revolutionized payments for the retail sector and even attempts at bridging the digital divide to some extent. Similarly, GPS is the foundational technology driving a multitude of services today, like Google Maps, Uber, food delivery services, and postal services. More than a billion people use Google Maps every month. When the foundational technology of GPS was founded and developed in the 1960s, these downstream applications were unimaginable. These foundational technologies of UPI and GPS are what are known as digital public goods. DPGs can look like open source softwares, open AI models, and open datasets. UPI and GPS have transformed payments and mobility for the world as we know it. Large-scale citizen-centric welfare programs have a much higher rate of success when these DPGs are combined with community co-creation and accountable governance. We have seen this in the case of MOSIP, the modular open source identity platform, where 71.7 million people across continents have been granted a governmental ID, which helps them access critical services and welfare programs. MOSIP has more than 60 commercial partners in the private sector, works closely with governments, and is also responsive to civil society organizations. It is because of this collaborative and transparent approach that MOSIP and UPI are able to democratize access to digital identities and digital payments. Now, there is a massive opportunity here for us to similarly transform the law and justice ecosystem using DPGs. In India, we are currently operating with a pendency of 4.4 crore cases in our courts. In the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, India ranks 63rd in the Contract Enforcement Indicator. 66% of all civil disputes in India are related to property issues, and only 20 million citizens, that is less than 2% of our population, have availed legal aid in the last 25 years. Disruptive innovations like AI can help bring about transformation to solve some of these biggest issues. Let me give you a few examples of what is possible with AI in this domain. AI-based solutions like automated case scheduling and priority case identification can be critical for resolving the high pendency rates and aiding in administration of court processes. AI models can also help in giving recommendations for judicial functions like deciding bail grants, insurance claims, and contract compliances. Legal researchers can benefit from efficient tools that can help with finding critical precedents, extracting relevant provisions, and even help answer very specific questions like which sections of the tax law are the most contentious. Litigators can benefit as well with smart support in calculation of court fees and precedent search. There is a huge scope for ensuring greater access to information and justice by developing translation tools for legal text in the vernacular languages. However, in order to make these solutions a reality, lawyers and technologists need to work together and must collaborate. The OpenAI mission was started last year in order to bridge the gap between lawyers and technologists and to lower the bar of innovation in the sector by developing reference solutions. Our mission is twofold. Firstly, legal experts and AI technologists are starting to work together to build a more tech responsive legal system. And because there is a lack of a common vocabulary which would ideally help them mobilize and co create the solutions, we are currently building a community which meets every second month to discuss the developments in the sector. Secondly, in order to lower the bar of innovation in legal AI, we are creating high quality and open data sets and AI models for the development of natural language processing for Indian legal text. Our mission rests on principles of open, collaborative, inclusive, and transparent development. And so all our solutions are open sourced and are built by the community. We have 5 founding organization members, and we are joined with the community today when we meet every other month to share our developments. Now let's talk a little bit about the barriers that come when the community meets and works to build legal AI. The first and the biggest barrier is the quality of existing data. For example, judgments and contracts in India vary massively in terms of form, style, they differ with different domains and are mostly unstructured. This becomes a huge problem because the cost of creating training data, that is data which is machine readable, is very high. The collaborative solution we have adopted at OpenNyai is a community engagement model where we are able to provide value to the community as well as procure gold standard datasets. Student and expert volunteers help build datasets for operationalizing a judgment structuring and a judgment summarization model, as well as a named entity recognition models for Indian judgments. We are also building a MOOC, that is a micro certificate course, so students can learn the basics of AI, model building, data creation, and then go on to practically develop these datasets. This not only helps the students develop a more nuanced understanding of legal tech, but also helps the ecosystem. The MOOC is entirely open sourced, and so a combination of collaborative and open principles can help us break this first barrier. Coming to the second barrier, we have realized that there is a lack of middle public actors in the ecosystem. What I mean by that is that these actors work as field catalyzers who assume a very unique position in the ecosystem and have visibility over the developments of the field as a whole. They're able to facilitate between lawyers and technologists and aid in collaborative model building and community engagement. OpenAI is associated with Agami, who plays this role and is building an inclusive ecosystem. So the second barrier can be broken by applying the ethos of inclusivity and collaboration. The third barrier is the one I mentioned at the beginning as well, that there is a big gap when it comes to legal experts and AI technologists collaborating with each other. The legal AI community has started growing, and the one big learning we have had is that the growth of the community is incumbent entirely on collaboration and transparency in the resources built and solutions developed. In the presence of an open dialogue among the solution providers and problem posers, the ethos of transparency and open source can help break the third barrier. I want to highlight toward the end one use case which is at the intersection of access to information and access to justice. This use case has broken all the barriers we just mentioned and has successfully followed the principles of collaboration, open source, and transparency. It is solving a major problem in the country. A survey which was conducted by the government of India showed that 53% of Indians who don't access the internet have said that they would start doing so if they had content available in their native languages. A collaboration between the government and the private sector called Bhashini seeks to solve this major gap. Bhashini is an open AI solution which is helping solve this huge problem in a country which has 22 official languages and thousands of other vernacular languages. They're doing so by building an open repository of language models and datasets. They have solved for 3 big things. Firstly, text-to-text translation, speech-to-text translation, automatic speech recognition, and even real-time speech-to-speech machine translation of different Indian languages. These solutions can be applied to legal context and legal text as well. This is a massive development for the information accessibility and justice ecosystem. Now, after an analysis of some of the barriers that we discussed and looking at this use case, we know that if we adopt a collaborative approach and unlock the leadership of different stakeholders, we will be able to solve some of the big problems of law and justice by creating an open ecosystem of legal AI innovations. Thank you.